Welcome back to the Silver River Chairs channel. We're in the final step of reassembling this wonderful Windsor chair. We talked a little bit about the shellac coat that we put on it. We do one single coat of shellac. We don't like to build up a lot of layers of shellac and make it really shiny. If this is too shiny for you, you can put a wax coat on top of this and buff it down, and then it takes a bit of the sheen off of it. Or you could do no clear coat. You could also, if all you've got is a polyurethane or something like that, go with it. You could do just the carnauba wax on this as well. Back in the day, they would build up layers and layers of wonderful lead paint, and that would make your seats last really long, but it's pretty gross. All right, let's talk about reassembling. I have cleaned up all of these joints, the exposed joints that we are going to be reassembling here, both this end and the receiving end. So you're taking all of the old, we're trying to take all of the old glue out. Then you want to dry fit. Make sure everything fits together before you put any glue on it, for sure. Key component of dry fitting is making sure that these monstrous dowels that we had to remove from here, that those guys are going to fit back in, and that they're fitting back in this area as well. All right, so the idea here is brushing, using your wonderful glue brush, brushing glue onto both sides, and using a wood glue, just a wood glue. Don't use any special glue, no Gorilla Glue, no super glue, no anything. Someone has to take this apart eventually, and the regular wood glue will work just fine. You'll want to put a thin bead of glue here as well, on this, on both sides. This will be going back together like so-ish. I'm not going to put it together entirely because I don't have the glue on there yet. Then replacing the screws back in here. And the screws are going to help hold everything together. Then you'll be putting the dowels in. I am going to kind of set this in, I think, so that it'll at least halfway stay put while I'm talking about it. There we go. So now I have oversized these dowels quite a bit for emphasis. You don't have to make them this long, but when they're fitting in here and connecting the chair together, you do want it to stick out some. That way you can come back with a flush cut saw and cut off, and then use the chisel and some sandpaper, smooth everything out. Where there are little things that end up on the edges, you'll want to use some wood putty, and then you'll be adding coloring after the fact. Now these holes where the screws go in, that's the screw hole there, you're going to want to fill those as well afterwards using a dowel. I use a dowel. You don't want to push it all the way back to where it's hitting the screw, because when you're gluing it in, it'll push a bunch of glue up into the slot of the screw and make the next guy's life harder. I'm using dowel ends. If you could be using a plug cutter and making it so that the grains match up. In this particular case, what I took out was the end cut, so I'm all right putting it back in. I also don't have a plug cutter. If anyone wants to send me a plug cutter, I'll gladly use it next time. So we're again lopping this off, leaving it extended out a little bit, lopping it off with a flush cut saw, sanding it, doing any wood putty fill around the edges, and then coloring it to match. That's kind of a quick run through. That is the general idea. This is the type thing that my structural guru Bob would show me and then expect me to do it on my own, and that's how you learn. So thanks, Bob. And thank you guys for sticking with me. I'm sure we'll get a picture of this when it's all said and done. And I know our client is going to be super happy to get it back. So thanks, guys.